let's have a look now at what is in today's international press with our press reviewer, Florence Firmino. Hello, Florence.
Hi, Lorna.
So, rather more seriously, the violence between Israel and Gaza is getting a lot of attention in the international papers.
That's right. It's on the front page of The Independent today that says an eye for an eye, and there's a striking photo of Jihad Marshawi. He's a journalist for the BBC in Gaza who's holding the body of his 11-month-old son, Omar, who was killed in an Israeli raid. And on the cover of The Independent, it says that those militant rockets targeted Tel Aviv for the first time since 1991 in revenge for this assault on Gaza. Now, it's getting a lot of attention in the Israeli press today. A lot of articles are applauding the government for reestablishing deterrence policy. That's what you can read in the Jerusalem Post today. Now, they say that they stand behind the IDF and they want to demonstrate unity. And according to this article, Israel has not only the right, but the moral obligation to defend its residents. Although the Jerusalem Post does point out that this probably won't change fundamentally anything in Gaza right now.
Okay, well, a lot of papers are also focusing on what this means for the region more generally.
That's right. The Guardian explores what this means for Egypt, and according to this article in The Guardian, this is Egypt's biggest challenge yet. Now, this article says that the Muslim Brotherhood president, Mohamed Morsi, is right to be furious because so far he's done everything to avoid confrontation with Israel in the early days of his presidency, and now this happens. And they say that Morsi he stands in front of a tidal wave of anti-Israeli sentiment from the Arab streets, and these people are pushing him to open the Pandora's box of the peace treaty with Israel. Now, L'Orient Le Jour looks at what all this means for Lebanon, and they quote Hassan Nasrallah, who's the head of Hezbollah, who says that all of Lebanon should feel concerned about the violence. He calls on Arabs and Muslims to support Palestinians, and he says that the whole point of this attack is political. He says that with the general election that's just around the corner, Benjamin Netanyahu and his government are using the security card. It's an election strategy to reestablish national security credentials. And that you can get that feeling in a cartoon in The Guardian today, where you see a picture of a very fired up Benjamin Netanyahu who's saying vote for Likud, and behind him you see missiles with Israeli flags on them.
Okay, well, just some news that's come into us, actually, as the Egyptian Prime Minister visits Gaza at the moment, as the ceasefire supposedly holding force during that 3-hour visit. But we have got some news from Agence France-Presse saying that an Israeli strike has hit the north of Gaza as the Egyptian Prime Minister visits Gaza. We will, of course, keep viewers up to date with that. But let's carry on with this look at the international papers, because The Independent is looking at the use of social media in this conflict.
That's right. It's an interesting article in The Independent that points out that in the propaganda war between Hamas and the IDF, the battleground is social media, really. And it points out that both the IDF and Hamas took to Twitter over this occasion. For instance, the IDF boasted on Twitter and YouTube of the killing of the head of Hamas's military wing, and the armed wing of Hamas tweeted back to them, actually, saying that you've opened the gates of hell on yourselves.
So you can always see the war take place in real time on the Twitter sphere. Moving on to another story now, China and the end of the 18th Communist Party Congress.
That's right. It's on the front page of China Daily today. A new generation of leaders unveiled. And it didn't come as much of a surprise, but Xi Jinping was announced as the president in waiting. A lot of papers are wondering, what are his policies going to be? Is he going to be a reformer? And a cartoon in the International Herald Tribune today suggests that he probably won't be. Even if he wanted to reform, it looks like he's going to hit a brick wall, and not any brick wall, the Great Wall of China. So it looks like he won't be able to bring that much change to China, according to the International Herald Tribune.
Okay, well, we're going to move to Ireland now, because the death of a woman there has sparked absolute outrage. Savita Halappanavar, she died after being denied an abortion.
That's right, and there's an interesting piece in the Irish Times today that says that it's time for the government to stop talking and to legislate. Now, it says that there's a strong sense of shame in Ireland. It feels like the government and Ireland in general failed this young woman, and this is a wake-up call for legislators. They need to make it very clear. There needs to be clear regulations and guidelines of how the right to life of an unborn child and the right to life of a pregnant woman can be reconciled.
Thank you very much indeed, Francois William, for that look at today's international papers.